Yo guys, I'm back with a brand new What If, and it's a pretty special one at that. It's our first My Hero Academia What If. I'm super excited to do this. It's a crossover What If with Jujutsu Kaisen, you know that new anime. I'm sorry if I butcher the characters from Jujutsu Kaisen's names. It's the two main antagonist names. Uh, but without further ado, let's get into the story. Okay, I'm gonna start this What If around the time Deku discovers he's quirkless, so probably like a year after. Deku still admires heroes and still really wants to be one, but in this scenario, rather than constantly studying heroes like in canon, he's gonna be searching for ways to gain power, whether that be through training physically or through alternatives like, just alternatives. Don't get me wrong, Deku still likes to study heroes, just not as frequently, since he's deciding to train as much as well. With that background information out of the way, let's begin. One day Deku is on his way to the library to study different ways to gain strength, and different heroes as well, when the strange man approaches him and asks him about the book. Deku explains that he's quirkless, but wants to be strong. And the man is intrigued by this and is thinking about using Deku to test something. He asks Deku to come with him. Deku kind of scared, but is persuaded to go with the man. And the man takes something out of his back pocket. Deku asks what it is, and the man replies, "It's a way for you to be the strongest." Deku, excited but also skeptical, opens up the box and is shocked when he sees a finger. Deku, scared, thinking the man might be a villain, asks in a timid voice what to do with this. Then the man says, "Eat it." Deku, even more confused at this point, just replies and eats the finger. The man gets closer to Deku to see how his body is reacting. He sees markings all over Deku's body. He figures that Sukuna must have completely taken over Deku, and is thrilled since Deku is a perfect vessel. Sukuna, in an annoyed voice, asks why the hell is he here, and the man introduces himself as Mahito, and says his organization's plan is to eradicate all of humanity, but right before Sukuna can even reply, Deku takes control, and asks who is talking, the man who is the voice inside of his head. Mahito explains who Sukuna is. He tells Deku he's the only one who can contain this villain, and he needs to keep it a secret. Deku, excited, agrees. Mahito thinks if he can feed Deku more of Sukuna's fingers, Sukuna will be able to completely take control over Deku for good, and he can finally act on his plan. Deku, excited but confused, asks, "Didn't you say I'd get stronger from this?" So before Mahito leaves, he explains the power of Sukuna, and how he may be able to access it too. Mahito thinks that even if Sukuna is unable to fully take control, he may be able to brainwash Deku. Later that night, Deku attempts to communicate with Sukuna, but that's not happening. As we've seen in Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna dislikes humans, and I'm pretty sure this scenario won't change things. So now that everything's set in motion, time for a time skip. Okay, we're gonna time skip to the time Deku's in middle school, so about the same time that's in canon. Deku and Bakugo have the same relationship as in canon, since not much would change other than Deku being stronger. And with that out of the way, let's jump back into the story. In class one day, the teacher asks everyone if they would like to be heroes, and he lets it slip that Deku wants to go to UA. Everyone makes fun of Deku for this, including Sukuna. Over the years, Deku has been constantly berated by him, so I feel he wouldn't let others' words affect him as much like they did in canon. Of course they would still hurt Deku, but in Deku's mind, he's constantly taking verbal abuse from Sukuna, so he might be used to it by now. Anyways, Bakugo walks up to Deku and burns his hero notebook and throws it out the window. Deku, annoyed by this, lets it go, just go gets his notebook and heads back home. On his way back home, Deku encounters a sledge villain, who takes Deku hostage in an attempt to steal his body. Sukuna, thinking Deku might die, decides to intervene, and he ends up blowing the sledge villain into pieces. After that, Deku's gonna converse inside of his subconscious. Sukunas says, I think it's time that we made a pact. And that's where I'll leave this what if off, guys. Tell me if you want to see more My Hero Academia what ifs in the comments. I'm also going to be doing a few gaming videos. Sword Art Online one's done, just have to edit more. Anyways, have a good day. Peace.